Hi, folks. This is Rick Doc Walker, the DOC.
This is John Kime, and you're listening to the Mess Hall with Rally Captain and Tailgate Ted.
Another Victory Monday rally. I'm starting to get worried, man. We haven't had one of these in a while.
Who you telling, man? Who you telling? For the life of me, I wanted us to win the game, and I predicted us to win the game, but going into it, it was kind of sketchy until the boys handled their business and said that, hey, look, you know what? We ain't no slouch. We ain't no slouch. We're gonna do what we got to do and get this dub for us as well as the fan base.
So I feel a little foolish, right? Because we talked on the last show, don't sleep on the Titans, right? They had the number 2 ranked defense in the NFL, right? And believe it or not, they actually have fans, right? I'm at the tailgate and we're hanging out there, and I actually see Titans fans walking by. I'm thinking, why? I mean, I know one Tennessee Titans fan, and that's Chad Dukes, right? And people giving Chad crap for leaving the then Redskins and everything else to now cheer for the Titans. Y'all can pound sand. He's a good dude. I don't blame him for making that jump. A lot of people jumped and started cheering for Baltimore. So he just cheered for a different AFC team. So screw all of y'all. But I was shocked to see as many Titans fans walking down the walkway where I am, where I tailgate. But I blame all of you Commanders fans that sold your tickets, man. There were tickets the morning of in the lower bowl, less than $50 for a must-win game for us to get in the playoffs. And I'm shocked, man. I'm shocked. I'm annoyed. I'm disappointed because it was cold. These people just decided they don't want to go anymore. Like, were you guys going to not go if it's a home playoff game because it's cold outside? I don't get it, man.
Well, I think that it was a combination of things, Ted. Let's not forget that it was Thanksgiving weekend, and a lot of people probably. Well, I can't make excuses for them, but my thought process is, man, people were tired. They were cooking. They were with their family, and they just didn't want to deal with the traffic and the things that go along with going to a live football game. Hey, like I said, I was there. So, but I can see how people who maybe went out of town, who drove back, maybe they were tired, man. I mean, it is what it is. The main thing is we got the dub, and I think that the win reinvigorated the fan base to where for the game after New Orleans, which is
The
who do we
Eagles.
put? The Eagles.
Yeah.
I think we'll see a resurgence of them back because they truly understand that there's no excuses. There aren't any holidays. There aren't any. You're not cooking all day and all night, so you can come out to Northwest Stadium and rep your squad because, as you said, this is truly where the rubber meets the road. These next 4 games is when the magic happens, so to speak. So we need everybody there.
I mean, we're 8-5, right? By my math, just looking at everything happening, we're still the 7th seed. We've got a bigger lead now than, we did before, but it's still, we're not guaranteed a spot. Every game matters. Every game is important. And I don't want to be Debbie Downer with the win. We freaking kicked Tennessee's ass. I just want to get on those people that I get being tired. You know what cure to being tired? Don't sleep energy. Use code DMV Mess Hall. Get yourself some don't sleep energy and suck it up. Get your ass out there, right? Because, I don't think you've come by when I'm actually making my speeches on the mic and we're talking. And shout out to my little brother for getting me a megaphone because we haven't had a DJ the past couple of weeks. So I've just been yelling and losing my voice, trying to give everyone a little talk. But I told everybody at the tailgate, if you have a voice by the time you leave that stadium, you did not do your job, right? This was a freaking huge game. And the team came out and played like it was a huge game. They made sure that we weren't going into this bye week with an L, or more importantly, going into this bye week with a bunch of question marks. Because if we would have beat the Titans, 13-10, I think it'd be doom and gloom, and I think people would be dumping their tickets for this Eagles game later on in the season. What do you think?
I think, Ted, that as I said, people feel or felt that, hey, we've got more games. I can miss this one. That's what I honestly feel. I honestly feel that that's what they were thinking. And now it's up to the diehard fans, I believe, or the people that really pay attention, knew that this was a must-win game. But at the same time, it didn't feel like it, if you know what I mean. Because in the back of people's mind, must win. Oh man, we got four more games left. I'm good. I'll come out for the next one. So this is where we need to get that message across to from us to the sportscasters to everybody that listen, guys. You need to come out and represent the squad because these are all these home games. Because if you're not going to travel, these home games mean the most, and you guys need to show up and show out. And that message needs to get out across the board.
Yeah, it does. I mean, the Eagles game is going to be massive. And another reason why I hate Baltimore, the sons of bitches just pooped the bed against the freaking Eagles, man. I cannot believe it, right? It's thinking we can count on Baltimore to do what they need to do against Philly. And Justin Tucker, a first ballot Hall of Fame kicker, just pulls a Zane Gonzalez, and next thing you know, just missing stuff left and right, and then lets Philly walk away with the win, and it just further cements their just lead in the NFC East. And I'm not sure we're going to be able to catch them. I mean, we control our own destiny for the playoffs, so that's all that matters. It just would have been nice if that December 22nd game would have had a little more leading into it, considering, Philly, I was hoping was going to go down to the Ravens, but I guess not.
Well, man, and look, they have another game to play next week along with us. They could
Well, we got to
lose.
buy, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, we got to buy. They could lose and help us out. I think Bruce Allen said it best, winning off the field. So anything's possible, man. They could get tired all of a sudden because in their mind they think they've made it. So just let it play out. And
I'm going to tell you who they're playing, and you tell me if you still think that's the case. Out of all the teams in the NFL, out of all the teams in the NFL, who do you not want them to play? That's pretty much a guaranteed win.
the Giants.
No, they play the Giants week 18. They play the Carolina Panthers next week. So I don't know if Carolina's going to put up too much of a fight. I
Well,
mean,
didn't Carolina beat the Tennessee, or not Tennessee, but the Texans?
I don't know if Carolina's 3-9. Let me go back and check.
I think
I
they beat.
mean,
I think they beat the Texans. I could be
no,
wrong.
they
Maybe.
they beat the Saints, they beat the Raiders, and they beat the Giants. So the
Oh,
Saints are 2-7, the Giants are 3-7, and
I'm,
the Raiders, yeah, not
I'm
doing too
thinking.
well.
I'm thinking Tennessee. Tennessee just beat
Yeah,
the Texans.
Tennessee beat the
That's what it
the
was.
the
Yeah, that's what it was.
Texans. So it's just I don't know. Hey, any Sunday, right? Any given Sunday, it could happen. Shoot, we lost to the freaking Cowboys last week.
Yeah,
And I'm still angry about that. Just because Tennessee is a better defense than Dallas. And we
yeah.
put up 42 points on these Bamas with missing 2 field goals. Like, did you see this offensive explosion coming after the dud that we put up against Dallas and after the Eagles game and the Steelers game?
Well, no, no one did, and that's another reason why the fans sold their tickets because I was talking to a lot of people who said, "I don't want to witness anything like that again." And
Give
I
me their
said, "Well,
names, and I don't want them ever showing up on my tailgate. I'm
no,
taking names, I'm writing notes, I'm
it,
keeping
it,
receipts.
it's a thing where, as I said, a cumulative thing. Tired, traveling, don't want to see lackluster effort on the field, or not effort, but performance, if you will, and to lose, so they rather just stay in their PJs and watch it at home. On one aspect, my small side fan of me understands, but the big fan of me says, "Nah, you got to beat every game." But I have a dedication that most people don't have, so I look past it. The biggest thing with me, Ted, is this: you do you, and let me be me, and we'll meet each other in the middle. And that's how I honestly feel. So, but as I said, I honestly believe that it's going to drill down to people that know that, look, we need your support in these games, and these are must-win games. And I think what they'll do is they'll put their lack of effort or their being tired or whatever have you, they'll put it to the side and they'll make their way to Northwest Stadium because everybody loves a winner. And if you watched it at home, you were a loser because it felt good walking out of Northwest Stadium being a winner.
Well, clarify that. If you watched it at home and you had tickets and you didn't go, because if someone didn't have them and they don't have
Okay,
season tickets, and I get
I got
that, then
you. Yeah.
okay, that's fine. But I am annoyed with those people that did that because there were a lot of new fans in the stands, right? I mean, they talked about it on B. Mitch and Finley today. Like, we were doing the wave when we were on offense, right? And you literally had the team put up a sign on the Jumbotron and the command force holding up signs saying quiet offense at work. Meanwhile, the wave is going around for the seventh time. And I don't know about you, but I was standing on my seat, basically trying to put my hands down, like, stop. You guys are freaking stupid at this point. That's what happens when the tickets go for $50 a seat or less than that. And you got people that normally come during preseason that just don't know what to do during a regular season game. And we all got to learn how to win again as a fan base, if you will. And I do
Hmm.
appreciate the team putting up new graphics for like the decibel level and stuff like that. Uh, I think that decibel level thing is fake. I would appreciate it if the team did not put decibels less than three numbers, because against the Cowboys, a couple of times the decibels never got past like 94. It was like, that's kind of embarrassing. So you put whatever number you want to up there, at least make it go past 100 something. So it makes it look like we're redlining this thing. But it's, if we're going to be a good fan base again, which we were, man, the first drive, they had two false starts in their very first possession, Tennessee. And granted, maybe it's just because Tennessee is bad on offense. But I credit the fans for that, man. We brought the energy, even though the stadium wasn't sold out, even though it wasn't packed like it should have been.
Oh yeah, the Laurel Bowl, the Laurel Bowl was I'd say semi sold out, if you will, but the upper deck, the club level and upper deck, they had plenty of burgundy seats visible. Um, but look, man, you know that's one of the bad things about this win, if you will. I want to focus on the good things about it. And one thing that we will never be able to do is control what someone else does. We can only control our actions. We can put it out there what we would like, but at the end of the day, those people who say that they're fans need to come back out. And as you said, winning cures all. We were on a 3-game losing skid, and people just didn't want to. Let's be honest with each other. People just didn't want to take the time out, even though it was a must win game. They didn't want to take the time out of their schedule to possibly have a fourth game loss. They just didn't want it. So on one aspect, hey, I get it, but let's focus on the folks that did come, and as you said, caused two false starts with the Tennessee Titans. So I'm ready for all that. Let's get that.
So, third play of the game, B Rob, 40-yard touchdown. I mean, were you surprised to see B out there, number one? Because I didn't know if he should play, right? I thought, okay, if he truly is banged up, we need him for later on, considering he was on with the sports junkies talking about how his ankle swelled up to the size of a watermelon, which he was, exaggerating, because I saw him on the sideline during that Cowboys game and it wasn't that big, but obviously he couldn't go back out there. But heading into the bye next week, knowing that and what Chris Rodriguez can do, were you surprised to see B out there? And more importantly, were you surprised to see how well he did when he was out there?
I was shocked. I thought that maybe he might be a distraction, if you will, but because I didn't get to see the pregame, I came in a little bit a little later than normal, so I didn't get to see the pregame, and I didn't see his movements and how he looked. But one thing that I will say, Ted, I remember many moons ago playing high school ball, and they had just come out with this cold technology, this boot that you stick your ankle in, and for even at a high school level, back in the day, you know, they doggone for guys that would get hurt on a Friday night, you get put in that boot for 4 days out the week, man, you can come back and play. So, and I know that technology has just gotten a lot better since then. So, I think that it was surprising. What surprised me is how long they kept him in. I would have thought, he got his little yards, whatever have you, and move on. No, they kept him in. He was in it even in the fourth quarter. So
Was he?
that
I didn't
that
think he was.
yeah, he was in the fourth quarter. It shocked me, and I just said to myself, okay, I'll let it go. It was maybe like one or two plays he was in, and then they pulled him, but he was there.
Okay. I'll take your word for it. I didn't think I saw him in the fourth quarter. I mean, we got a steady dose of Chris Rodriguez at that point, and I'm trying to pull up the drive chart. But I mean, B Rob ended up with what, 103 to finish the game. I
That's
mean, the
awesome.
guy was freaking just a stud, averaged 6+ yards a carry, right? Yeah, 16 for 103, 6.4 yards a carry and a touchdown. Chris Rodriguez, 13 for 94, averaged 7.2 and a touchdown, right? We put up 267 yards on the ground, right? I mean, it's a freaking field day against the Titans defense, who were only giving up 291 total. That is air and ground, is what they were giving up. So to be able to do that against the Tennessee defense, I mean, rushing defense, rushing yards per game, Tennessee was giving up 120 on the ground. So they were 16th in rushing attack. And that is as of today. So if let's take this thing back to before the game, Tennessee was ninth, giving up 106 yards on the ground. And we put up 250, 267. I mean, what do you think the difference was with the ground attack this week versus, I don't even want to talk about it, but, versus those
Well,
Bama's?
I'll say this. First off, with Tennessee, it almost looked like this was their first cold weather game. Their body language wasn't very much into this game. I mean, they had little spurts where we were like, "Oh, are they going to come back?" But their body language was not too good. So that kind of surprised me because I thought that they would come out and play better. But on the other hand, I think that our players, as I said, they're tired of losing too. You know, they want to make sure that they're not a fluke. They hear what people are saying about them. They understand, and they needed to, from the coaching staff on down to the water boy or girl, we needed to apply pressure because we were not going to repeat what happened last week. Everyone knows that we should have won that game. But as you say, shoulda, woulda, coulda, it doesn't matter. We took a L. But we've moved on. They put the hammer down and didn't let up. And I was happy to see that. And this is what needs to happen moving forward. Now, granted, every defense isn't going to be able to give up what they gave up for us to be able to run the ball and pass the ball. But we looked like a totally different team. We looked like when we were on that 4-game winning streak, those Commanders and not Cabamas, if you will.
You sound like Rev T now when he's all pissed off. But I mean, to me, this one was huge. This was freaking massive because we had to get the win. But people were talking about the Cowboys game and how we had to have this kind of win against Dallas, right? I don't even want to think about what would have happened going into the bye week. We have been there way too many times as a fan base, having a horrible loss going into the bye week. And then it's just 2 weeks of doom and gloom. So the fact now that we actually just get to celebrate to a degree heading into the bye, going down to New Orleans. And for those of you going, make sure you register for the fan rally that Rally's hosting out there at Pat O'Brien's. And I am now starting to get FOMO for not being there. But this is actually what Terry had to say about getting this win heading into the bye week.
Terry, how good did it feel to get that offensive performance going into the bye?
That felt amazing, honestly. The way we ran the ball at the line of scrimmage, the way we made plays on the perimeter, the way Jaden extended plays with his legs, the way we finished at the end with the ball in our hands. That's the standard that we have to live up to. And for us to get that kind of win against, I think they were a top 3 or 4 defense in the league, coming off a big win against the Texans last week. So we knew it was going to be a 4-quarter battle, but I think just our intensity, the way we attacked this game was very intentional. And we got to figure out a way to continue to come out the bye even better and stronger if we want to make a run. So, I know the guys in there are ready to get this little break, but it's a good way to go in there with an emphatic win like that.
How happy were you to see Terry actually involved early in the game plan? I mean, we have gone halves. We've gone, 3 quarters at times, I feel, without Terry even getting a look. But, I mean, he was the first pass from scrimmage? I mean, it was obvious that those scripted plays, Kingsbury heard everybody bitching. And I'm not saying Cliff's listening, but I know people over there do. But he obviously heard everyone yelling and screaming about, you got to get Terry more involved. I mean, how happy were you to see it actually happen?
Very happy because he deserves it. Let's face it. We say that the offense runs through basically 3 people. That's Jaden, that's Brian, and that's Terry. And if one of those pieces are off, the team will be off. But you saw yesterday, we were on. And like you said, the offensive coordinator, Cliff, he knew that things were a little bit inept. And so he switched it up. That's all we've ever asked. Switch it up. If we as fans who aren't millionaires can see it, you guys have to be able to see it. And you guys make the big bucks to make those changes. We can't implement the changes. We can bitch at you about it. And maybe you did listen. And because of it, we got the results. And I'm hoping that on this bye week that they are figuring out other schemes to get Terry as well as other guys open so that we can really show them what we're made of. Because I truly still don't believe that we have seen the full potential of this offense yet.
42 points we put up, right? This is the 4th time we have put up just ridiculous numbers like that. I think the last time happened in 1991 and blah, blah, blah. But you think this offense can do more?
Oh, man, I believe they can do more. I believe they can do more. Put it this way, we got a rookie quarterback who is, I'd say, still seeing 85 to 90% of the field. Possibly. Wait till he can see 95. Oh, bro, there won't be anything stopping us. That is, of course, if Cliff is still here, in his sophomore year. But I believe that and I love Jaden, but let's face it, he's a rookie. He's doing outstanding, but he's still not seeing everything, which I'm okay with right now. But to answer your question, I believe that this offense can put up more. It's just a matter of him getting more comfortable with the offense, the other offensive players getting even more comfortable with him and this scheme. Let them get more comfortable with a full offseason, practicing together, doing everything they can do together. Oh, I'm sure that we can put up more points. I'm sure that we can do better. And I'm happy where we are. It's been a long time since I've said I'm happy where we are, but I feel we can do better. And everybody should want to strive to do better.
Yeah, people are worried about Kingsbury leaving, right? I think it's a little foolish to worry about that. You don't know what he wants to do. He only signed, a 3-year deal here. It is what it is. And if he leaves, then so be it, right? Dan Quinn brought in a bunch of people to make sure that he doesn't have the same mistake he had in Atlanta when he lost Shanahan, right? Right now, we're still the fourth scoring offense in the league, 28.9. Right?
Fourth.
Baltimore's at
Wow.
29.5. Buffalo's at 29.6. And Detroit's at 31.9, right? Detroit's the highest scoring offense. Just going back to a year ago, we scored 19.4 points per game. That is 10-point difference than last year, right? Going back to 2022, right? Hate to see it, 18.9 points per game. I mean, this offense is doing amazing work right now. What frustrates me to a degree is, why did it take so long for Kingsbury to move Terry around? Why did it take so long to focus on getting him the ball? And this is actually what Terry had to say about Cliff.
Going back to what Kyle was saying about getting you more targets early, looked like you were also moving around quite a bit.
Yeah.
Just what does that say about Cliff, the stuff in general about adjusting when things don't go as planned?
Yeah, you definitely got to give him credit for that. You know what I mean? I think when you get to this part of the season, a lot of your playbook is out there. You know, you're going against good teams and it's winning time moments, so they're going to make adjustments. They're going to kind of have a feel of what you like to do. And so for them to be able to move me around a little bit in the slot to the right, I think it says a lot about our offensive staff just trying to put me in the best situation to be successful. And for myself, I just try to execute when they put me in those spots, because I feel like I have the ability to have success no matter where I am on the field. And I think they give me that confidence because of just the belief they put me into me as a player and the work that I put in. So you definitely got to give our offensive staff and Cliff credit for continue to adjust. And it's going to take that down the stretch. You know what I mean? And I have no problem, being the guy who takes away the coverage for other guys to have success as well. But for me to be able to move around, keep defense on their toes, not for them to be able to know where I'm going to be, I think that's an advantage that we can use. So just excited for this entire team win, and I'm going to continue to look at the film to see how I can even help us even more.
I mean, Terry gets just the entire offense and team going the second he catches a ball. And he actually said during his press conference, hearing the fans chant, Terry, Terry, just gets him going. And I'm that guy that's trying to tell people to be quiet because we're on offense, right? When Terry scored that one touchdown, he scored the second touchdown that they reviewed on that slant, and it's the opposite end zone from you. So I don't know if you had a chance to see the review of it, but Jaden has pressure coming right at him, a blitzer right in his face from where he has to throw that ball towards Terry is. Terry's lined up on the outside, and I think he had McCaffrey in the slot, or someone was in the slot, and he had to sidearm that ball and get it right to Terry. Was just a thing of freaking beauty. And at that point, the place just erupted. Everyone's chanting Terry, right? And how can you not just get super excited and super happy for him? And he's just sitting there beating his chest and trying to pump the crowd up. But you see what happens when this guy is engaged and how everybody feeds off of it. I get not wanting to force the ball to him. You go where the defense dictates to a degree, but you have got to make a conscious effort to make sure that he doesn't go an entire quarter, let alone a half, without getting at least a couple of looks. You've got to scheme something up to make sure he gets it, because even the first pass that Terry caught, it wasn't a crazy pass. It wasn't a crazy-ass freaking route concept or anything else. It was just a quick little hitch. Boom.
Yeah.
He gets the ball. It's like a running back that gets more carries. He just gets better and better as he goes through, as he touches the ball.
I think people got comfortable, Ted. I think they got comfortable with their scheme, and it took inside as well as outside pressure to change things up and say, you know what? I can put him over here. I can do this. They said that he knows all the plays from the X to the
he
Y.
does. Yeah.
He knows all of them. So hey, line him up, change it up, give him a different look. Don't. They basically knew, like as what Terry said, they basically knew our playbook. They know if I line up over here, I'm going to run probably a choice of 3 routes. And if you take away 2 and get pressure on the quarterback, more than likely you won't be able to get the ball to me. And that was kind of what we saw. Now it's unpredictable what he's going to run. Instead of a 3 routes, he's got 5 now. So you know, I'm all for it. Continue to open it up because we're gonna need every trick in the book to succeed here on out.
We definitely are. And it's nice to know that they're adaptable, that he's not, when I say he, Kingsbury isn't so stubborn to the point of, you know, I'm running my offense, and if it doesn't work, then damn, I'm not going to change it. Because he kept in B Rob to block, right? The Titans were coming through the A gap, just like what the freaking Cowboys were doing. They were bringing blitzes from the edge. They were trying to get to Jaden. The playbook is out. If you get interior pressure on Jaden, much like any quarterback, he doesn't know what to do at times, and he looks bad. But we kept backs in to block, right? We kept the back end to block and then chip out. B Rob, we talked about it before, has good hands. They let him use his hands from times, and he caught a couple passes out after he picked up a linebacker or picked up a safety and then threw a block and went out in the flat, right? It was nice to see things like that happen, knowing that it ain't over yet, right? And knowing that it was, and it doesn't look like it. And if you look at the score, it's hard to believe, but knowing that it was still against a good Tennessee defense.
I think Tennessee, as I said, this was possibly their first cold game because on one aspect, man, they did not look like they really wanted any parts of it. I mean, they made plays, but it was like let's just do enough so that we can get on home. I mean, I'm not sure if you saw that, but I saw their body language and it was kind of down.
I think after that kickoff fumble that we recovered, I feel that they just gave up. They just got the wind knocked out of them and they just wanted to go home. I don't know what the weather's like in Tennessee right now, but I feel like after that fumble that we recovered on the kickoff, they're just like, this ain't happening. I mean, to go down 28-0,
Yeah.
nearly 35-0 at that point, I just think that their team's like, all right, well, you know, we ain't winning this thing. And it doesn't really matter. We won our Super Bowl last week against Houston. So yeah, let's just go home. But it was still within 2 scores, right? I think they were down by 15. And I got some of those fans that bought the, $40 tickets behind me saying, all right, put in Mariota. And I looked at them like, how much did you drink in the parking lot? Right? This is 2 scores. There's still over a quarter left, and you want to put in Mariota? You need to leave right now. Maybe you need to go get some water, go sober up, go get some of those stadium nachos or something, because I'm sorry, I did not want to see Mariota in. That game was still too close for me, especially with the kicking debacle that we had going on. And, thank goodness when push came to shove, Quinn realized, all right, we can go for it again on 4th down, or we can go for a long kick. And yeah, let's just not give the damn ball back. Let's keep going for it.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't be remiss if I didn't talk about Emmanuel Forbes. Sorry to see the young man go. I hope that he has a great landing spot someplace. I'm hoping that he has learned. I'm hoping that he's learned what the NFL is really about, and that as we always talk about, you can't make those business type decisions. If you're gonna be in the NFL, you gotta lay yourself on the line, even though you may be the lightest one on the line. You got to do it, and so I'm hoping that somebody picks him up and he can reinvigorate his play.
I mean, he's going to clear waivers. No one's going to pick him up right now. No one's going to put in a waiver claim for him because you take on his salary at that point. And it's still a 1st-round pick salary. So he's going to hit the waiver wire. He's going to get dropped, and no one's going to make a move because they don't want to waste a waiver claim on a guy like that. I mean, I was shocked when I saw it come through on Saturday. My weekend was just crazy getting everything ready for the tailgate. It was just a mess. Note to self, don't ever put grits on the menu after Thanksgiving. I mean, there were no grits to be found anywhere in the DMV. It was ridiculous. So I'm never putting brats on the menu during October because Oktoberfest brats, they're gone. And we were supposed to do cheddar grits with some blackened shrimp. No grits to be found. So I'm just riding all over the DMV trying to find them and got nothing. But I mean, do I feel bad for the kid? No. I mean, he's made millions of dollars. I'm sorry, I don't feel bad for the kid. You know, was he a first round pick? People gave him a first round grade, right? So he would have been drafted in the first round by somebody in the league. It just sucks that it was us. I can't believe, but I can believe that all of Ron Rivera's first round picks are gone, right? Every single one of them either cut or traded, just gone. And this is actually what DQ had to say about cutting Forbes.
So you guys made a move yesterday with Emmanuel Forbes. What was the decision ultimately behind to release him?
Yeah, Marshawn's close. We talked about that. I think it was Friday, for him being back in it. And so when we made the, decision to release him, really just the best, opportunity for the team at this point. And I had a chance to visit with him, and I explained to him sometimes that the change of scenery is good. And I've seen other players, go to other clubs, and it, turns out differently. And sometimes that's a good thing. And I, said that can happen with you too. And so I wanted to, make sure he heard that from me. And there was even guys on his own team here, that had started somewhere else as a first round player. And all of a sudden a different scenery and different shift with the new system can help. And so we wanted to wish him best on his football journey, wherever that goes from here.
And I take it back. The Rams just put in a waiver claim for Emmanuel Forbes. So
look at there.
I am shocked. And hey, maybe that California weather will do him some good. And I don't know what the Rams record is. Actually, let me see what they are. Kind of curious. Rams are 6-6, so maybe they got some injuries and Forbes can help them out. I can't believe the Niners are last in the division over there. That's crazy to see.
They've been decimated with injuries as well, man. I mean, 'tis the season for players to unfortunately start dropping, and they are just half their squad is banged up. So, but it's pretty much every NFL team. Well, I shouldn't say every NFL team. A lot of NFL teams, because as we see, Philadelphia is still rolling. Those Steamboat Willies, boy, they are doing it, man. And but wait, look, this is about the Commanders. And we gonna ride this win for a week. Hopefully, the guys are getting some treatment. Matter of fact, on bye weeks, what are they allowed to do? Are they allowed to go out of town? Are they allowed to? So they can go out of town on a bye week.
Yeah, a majority of guys, they'll have like treatment and stuff like that. They'll go back and look at different film, but typically there is nothing going on like Wednesday. At that point, like the guys are free to go do whatever they want to. A lot of the guys in the past would go to the Bahamas and go to Atlantis and just get away for a little bit and then come back. I'm curious what guys are going to do. I mean, I don't know if you're going away during the bye week. I know you have in bye weeks in the past, but shoot, if I had player type money, best believe I am getting out of this cold. I was thinking it's Monday at 5:00. I was thinking about going to play pickleball after this, but it is 20-something degrees outside right now. So there is zero chance you're going to see me out there on the court because it's outdoors and there's no indoor places in DC. So I don't know. Where would you go if you were a player during the bye week?
Bahamas is always nice. An island someplace. I'm not a player, obviously, but I'm going to visit my granddaughter in Panama City, Florida. So I'm looking forward to that. I looked at the forecast and it's about 65 degrees there. So
I'm jealous.
I'm looking forward to that, man. Yeah, I take my masseuse with me and my girlfriend, wife, or whoever, and I be getting massages and just trying to relax a little bit and get my mind and body prepared for the last part of this last quarter of this grind. What would you do?
So, if it's me, I'm definitely I'd probably try and see if there was like a cruise or something I could take, right? With the misses. Well, I mean, if I'm a player, right, maybe I just rent like You know, you ever watch that Below Deck show?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I'd rent like a private boat like that with some of my boys or something at that, and then just kind of have our own little boat and just go to some islands or something. Because I mean, you've got to be back on Monday next week, right? So it's not like you can go for a long, long trip. So I can see the Bahamas, but it's still too many people for me. Just being at Atlantis and just something like that, even if you're in like the private little area. So I'd probably want to do something a little more, I don't want to say low key, but not as many people around. Believe it or not, I mean, when I'm not doing the TV stuff or the tailgate stuff or anything else, I just like wearing my hat and being incognito and just relaxing. Because
Yeah.
I talked to my sister today and she texted, because she actually, a bunch of my family came to the game this past weekend. She texted me and said, I feel like I got hit by a bus and I did nothing but drink and eat. I mean, during the tailgate, I'm running around going crazy and everything else is like, how the hell do you do it? Like, it's a lot of don't sleep energy. I don't know what to tell people, but that's pretty much my cure for everything at this point.
It works, that's for sure, because because I got off work Saturday, and I was tired out of my mind, but at the same time, took a little shot of don't sleep energy, and it refueled me right back up. And big shout out to you and that tomahawk steak. I posted the video on my page. That thing was good. That was good eats, man.
Yeah, no, it was definitely scrumptious, man. Tim from the tailgate likes to buy different stuff just for us to eat. That's not on the menu because after cooking the same stuff for 3 hours, you kind of want to eat something different. So that thing was definitely tasty. We finally got to celebrate with a victory steak, even though it was kind of like a pre-victory steak. So maybe that's what we got to do, right? Maybe for the Eagles game, instead of you coming by for a cheesesteak, we have to have a pre-victory steak to kind of prognosticate what's going to happen after the game.
I'm down for it, bro.
I'm down for that, dude. I will buy us. What's your favorite cut? Mine's a ribeye. What's your favorite cut?
They all are good to me. I don't have a now when we have a true victory steak, I gotta go with the tomahawk. I just do. But ribeye is fine. It's fine with me, man.
All right. I just because I'm superstitious, I'm going to buy us some steaks and I'm going to throw them on the grill to make sure when you show up, we're going to have a pre-victory steak and we're going to keep this thing going until it don't work. Right? We're going to see what happens.
Let's do it. And also, so here's something else that walking through the lots, hog farmer Jeff.
Yeah, pork rind.
This was the first game that he did not put any facial.
He didn't paint his face this game. What, really?
Yeah, it was his wife's birthday, and I think she said, not this game or something to that effect, and so he didn't do it. And I told him in the parking lot, if we win, you might ought to think about not painting your face again. So I don't know if he's gonna do it or not, but I got a picture of him as well with
there you go.
face. So all these little nuances is what we got to stick with, bro. Because if the football gods want to shine upon us, then let them shine, doing what we're doing.
We know we can get right. I mean, I've been doing my 2 waffles for breakfast on game day, just because Jaden says it's good luck for him. So we did fried chicken and waffles, Nashville hot chicken and waffles for the tailgate. So we might be having waffles, or maybe actually, you know what? We'll do waffle fries for the Eagles game. Just to kind of keep it going. But for you, which player or group of players gets to talk to Josh Harris and say, hey, Josh, let me use the PJ this week. Let me use your PJ to go on my vacation. I earned it.
Obviously, Jaden. Jaden, and Jaden's going to say, give me my lineman. Jaden the lineman, and you know what? We got to go with the rook, Sandstill. He's playing out of his mind. Yeah, he gave up a tutty, but at the same time, that's going to happen. But after that, he locked things down. Luvu's still playing lights out ball too. Bobby Wagner. I mean, all those guys. What player needs to do is go to him and say, "Look, we collectively need the PJ because we need to be able to get where we're going to get to so that we can relax and get ready for the next game." And any owner will probably say, you know what? Take it, guys. You deserve it.
So for me,
Yeah.
It's going to this guy.
I'm just curious what you thought of Chris Rodriguez. I know he was limited sort of there at the end, but as you guys look for additional help with Austin Eckler out, what do you think of the job he did?
Yeah, we really have a lot of confidence in him, Nikki, and he's just somebody that through practice and through the opportunities that he gets, he really delivers on that. I thought he's got good vision as a runner. You're right that he was in some 4-minute ones where he has to really get downhill, and that kind of suits Chris's style of playing aggressive and getting downhill. So, but there's a lot of trust that's built between him, his teammates, the staff, and so when he's called upon, he's really ready to deliver. And really that whole running back room kind of emphasizes that, Nikki. I thought Brian did a really good job in protection. We'd seen it from Jeremy earlier in the year and, of course, with Austin. So it's one of those groups that I feel the consistency continues to show itself all the way through.
I mean, the fact that Rodriguez was cut last week, right, came back, and then did this, right? The guy is just so humble. We talked about before, he gave his number to Lattimore. He could have fleeced him for some cash. We all know Lattimore's got it, right? But said, no, it's yours. You're the vet. This is your number, right? I'm just giving this to you. And he was the highest graded PFF player for this team this week, right? I feel for that guy. I can't imagine being a Ron Rivera draft pick, right? And then knowing or not knowing if you're going to have a roster spot week to week and what's going to happen, and making the most of your situation and the way he has earned it. I feel that Rodriguez and the offensive line, because the line, they did a damn hell of a job pass blocking this past week and run blocking. But Chris Rodriguez, man, to me, not talking about giving out rally chains yet, but he definitely gets one in my eyes, because I can't imagine the emotion knowing that, shoot, you get cut Saturday before the biggest game of the season against Dallas. You're probably watching that game and you see B-Rob go down and you're sitting there thinking, like, I could freaking be helping right now. We would be in this game if I was there on the sideline. And then to come in and just hearing, everything he's doing in practice and just how much of a freaking team player the guy is, I'm just happy for him, man. I'm happy to see him actually get a chance to prove that he is a good back and can play in this league. And Brian Mitchell was talking about it. He made it to the point of Adam Peters can't cut him again because someone is going to pick him up, just like they did Forbes. If there's a room for Forbes on someone's roster, best be sure there's a room for Chris Rodriguez on someone's roster.
Definitely. He once again, he has exceeded expectations like a lot of these guys have, and I'm glad that he's in the burgundy and gold. I really am.
Yeah. I mean, the guy did what we needed to. I'm going to say it again. We need 10 wins. I think if Rodriguez was there for that Ravens game, it would have been a lot closer. And who knows, on a coin toss, could have happened. I think if Rodriguez is there for that Cowboys game, it's a different story. And we end up winning that game. And we would already be at 10 at this point, and we might be able to relax a little bit. But Peters is human, right? They make mistakes, and it's a matter of learning from them. But for you, heading into this bye week, what are your two biggest questions going into it right now?
What's our offense going to look like after this bye week? Meaning, is Cliff going to, how much is he going to, he sees the success that he's had, how much is he going to change? The second that I have is, will Lattimore be back for this Saints game? They're saying that he will. Will we be able to see what he can truly bring to the house in a burgundy and gold uniform? I've heard what he's done in a black and gold uniform. I've heard that. But what is he going to realistically, how is he going to help us on defense in the burgundy and gold? Those are the things that I'm concerned and I want to know about. What about you?
Well, this is actually what DQ had to say about Lattimore.
Quickly,
considering he practiced and was close all the way maybe till Saturday night or whatever, would you expect Marshawn Lattimore to be ready to go in New Orleans?
More training we did today, some more Wednesday as we're going, and then hopefully, we'll see this trend continue to come up. So I'll give everybody a better assessment, health-wise with the team on Monday, but we're certainly pleased with the direction that it's headed. And if we hit all the steps in the process, JP, then we will. And we'll let it rip. But until then, we'll keep going through it. But he's certainly trending in the right spot, man.
I mean, I've heard trending in the right spot for how many weeks now? I mean, I think that this was the game plan. Just have him go into the bye and then be healthy to go up against his old team. And he's got to know the defensive playbook by now, right? He's got nothing but mental reps. And I don't know if there is a defensive back version of those VR goggles, but, he should be ready coming in here. He ain't getting on a PJ. He better not be taking any time off during this bye week because he has not earned it, in my opinion. His ass needs to be in Ashburn.
Yeah, he needs to be stretching.
Yeah. That magic boot you were talking about, they need to make sure he is wearing that thing 24/7 until we actually go to New Orleans, and then maybe he can have a hurricane to celebrate after the fact. But I agree with you. I am curious what's going to happen, but you talked a couple shows ago about Lattimore, like, well, we haven't had him. So what are we really missing, right? I mean, Tim Meek, right? We all love Tim. We know Tim, right? Indy Skins fan. I think that's his handle on Twitter, something like that. He was giving credit to Benjamin St. Juice, right? Saying St. Juice had a good game. I mean, I'm looking at the PFF grade, and St. Juice didn't have the best game. I mean, they gave him a 55 in coverage, right? That is 11th in coverage. They actually gave Michael Davis, granted, Davis only had 4 snaps, a 71. Noah, 43 snaps, got a 67.8. So he was our best, cornerback out there. On top of that, Quan Martin. But it would be nice to have Lattimore. I'm not holding my breath just because he hasn't been there, right? I mean, to me, the studs have been our linebacking core, like Frankie and Bobby. It boggles my mind that Ron Rivera, a linebacker, and Jack Del Rio. Del Rio played linebacker too, right? I mean, they could not find a single linebacker in 4 years. And Adam Peters finds it in an offseason. 2 freaking studs to just completely fix that position, right? I don't know what Ron was doing when he was here. I don't get it. Yeah. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of is collecting a paycheck and, just making us be the Commanders. So it is what it is. But for me, heading into the bye week, I don't know, man. Everyone, the haters, right? Or the people that sold their tickets for the Titans game because they didn't think it was a must win, they're talking about how we beat up on a bad team, right? They're focused on the fact that the Commanders are beating up on the bad teams and losing to the good teams. I have an issue with the fact that we missed 2 field goals, right? If we're playing a good team, those field goals, you and I have seen it time and time again, come to bite you in the ass when you miss them.
Yeah.
So, Adam, what are you going to do? Right? We got 15 owners on this team, right? Get one of their PJs to go pick up some kickers and see if we can do some tryouts or do something, because I don't know if Zane Gonzalez is it. I mean, we thought it was Seibert. Seibert's on IR. This is what concerns me, though, because I don't think DQ is going to do anything about it. Good news is he's not the one in charge of it.
Obviously, Dan, the kicking game has been a bit of a journey this year, and Zane misses 2 yesterday. Where are you guys at kind of with that position going into this bye week?
Yeah, going into it, I think, because we've had a couple of games with him. So I think now we're probably somewhere in the neighborhood of, don't quote me on it, Ben, but probably 3 or 5 for field goals and maybe, close to 10 for 10 on the extra points. So I do have a lot of confidence in Zane. We put him through all the different processes. You were out here for practice early in the week, into the wind and going. So I like where, he is at physically. I like, things he's able to do. So you're right that it has been a challenge due to kicking scenarios, injuries, et cetera. But we do have a lot of confidence in Zane.
I don't know how they can have the confidence in Zane, because to me, he hasn't given me a reason to, but we're also not seeing it in practice. But when the lights are on, it ain't there. And according to some of the beat reporters, he was missing them during warmups. So it worries me, because we've got some tough matchups coming up, right? And yes, he's going to be in a dome in New Orleans, so it might not be as big a concern, but you got literally 2 weeks right now to try and see if there are any other options. And they found Seibert kicking a freaking ball at a tree, right? I mean, maybe Peters can work some more magic, maybe some voodoo, since we're going down to New Orleans, and find another kicker to at least have him compete with. Because Zane and Lattimore, you don't get a bye week, right? You have to stay in Ashburn and prove that you guys are ready and you're good to go.
And I'm sure they probably are. I'm sure they probably are doing more on-field drills and things of that nature to get them up to speed. I'm sure he is. I'm sure that young man isn't happy with his performance. And what do they say? The old adage, practice makes perfect. So he's got to continue to practice.
Yeah. The other person that I need to focus on some stuff, and you mentioned it, is Kingsbury. I need you to put an addendum to your playbook and add some more plays with some more wrinkles of Terry in motion, Terry in the slot, just whatever you need to do to make it, because people obviously caught on to what you like to do. Now you have time to focus and add more stuff to it. So take this time to do it. Make that playbook just a little bit bigger. Some small wrinkles to these plays. And whether it's just Terry opening it up for somebody else or what, because I get the Saints aren't the best team, but the Eagles are good. Atlanta, we got to focus on. And believe it or not, Dallas ain't dead yet, right? The Cowboys are 5-7. I mean, they're the 12th seed right now. There's only 7 seeds, but best believe Dallas wants to play spoiler against us. So we got to dial up some new stuff in this playbook to make sure that we keep everybody on their toes that's going up against us.
Man, we've played spoiler against them before, as well as they've done it for us. And the last thing that I want is, and I hate to even look this far down the line, but the last thing I want to happen on January the 2nd is us coming back on the 3rd as taking an L. So I don't want that. But so that's not where my mind is. Our mind is doing the right thing with Cliff, Dan, Joe Witt, getting these guys prepared and letting them know we believe in you, like they've been doing, and it's time to take a break, put it behind you, go fishing if you need to, and get yourself ready, because, like you said, even though this isn't the Drew Brees New Orleans, there's still New Orleans in that dome, and that dome is loud. So we've got to get ourselves prepared for that.
That dome is crazy loud, man. I will never forget seeing Mrs. Tailgate jumping up and down and cheering when the Yin Yang Twins was coming on when we were at that game, because it felt like we were at a freaking concert. And it's just, those of you that haven't been to New Orleans, I don't know if you have any more spots left on your trips or what, but it is an experience. And playing in a dome versus that, like playing outside of FedEx Field when you got our fans doing the wave on offense, it's a completely different scenario. So don't sleep on the freaking Saints, but enjoy the bye week. Have fun down in Panama. I'm jealous. Have a couple drinks for me while you're out there, man. And for those of you wondering, we are not doing another show this week. Riley and I are going to enjoy the bye week. We will be back next Wednesday, most likely Tuesday or Wednesday, to preview the Saints game. We appreciate you guys. Do us a favor. Leave us a review. It's been a while since we've gotten some reviews, whether it's on iTunes, Apple, Spotify. It helps us out, man. It definitely does.
It really does. And here's the thing. We're the DMV Mess Hall. We can take it. If you say, hey, Rally Captain needs to be quiet a little bit more and let Ted do more talking, then say that.
Or if you're mad at me for calling you out because you sold your tickets, leave the review so I can save your name and make sure you don't ever come to my tailgate again.
Damn.
Hey, I'm keeping receipts, man. I'm still mad at those people, but hey, it's fine.
I hear you. The main thing is they sold their ticket. We came over with the dub. And on that note, we're going to see you in a week. Rally Captain, Tailgate Ted. Remember, you rep it hard, or you don't rep it at all. We'll see you in a week. Peace.